The social media stalker Emily Thompson was a popular social media influencer in Los Angeles, known for her glamorous lifestyle and vibrant personality. Her followers adored her, but she had a dark side that few knew about. She often received disturbing messages from anonymous accounts, but she brushed them off as the price of fame. However, things took a sinister turn when she started receiving detailed messages about her daily activities, even those she hadn't shared online. One night, Emily found a note slipped under her door. "I'm closer than you think." Panic set in. She reported it to the police, but they found no leads. Emily hired a private investigator, Mark Davis, to uncover the identity of her stalker. Mark discovered that someone had hacked into Emily's phone and home security system, monitoring her every move. The stalker had been inside her house, leaving no trace except for the feeling of being watched. Mark traced the IP address of the hacker to a rundown apartment building on the outskirts of the city. They found a room filled with screens displaying live feeds of Emily's home. The walls were covered in photos of Emily, with notes detailing her daily routine. The stalker was revealed to be a tech-savvy college student named Lucas, who had become obsessed with Emily's online persona. When Lucas realized he was caught, he fled, but Mark and the police managed to track him down. Lucas had created multiple identities online, and his obsession with Emily had started years ago. He had initially admired her, but gradually became fixated, believing they were destined to be together. Lucas's delusion led him to break into Emily's home, plant hidden cameras, and even steal personal items. Emily's sense of security was shattered. She took a break from social media to recover, moving to a new undisclosed location and changing her routines to avoid being tracked again. Lucas was sentenced to prison for stalking, breaking, and entering, and unauthorized surveillance. The story of the social media stalker served as a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking behind the screen, and Emily's tale became a cautionary lesson for influencers and followers alike. The disappearance at Crystal Lake. In the serene town of Crystal Lake, a popular camping spot for families, a series of mysterious disappearances had the community on edge. It started with the Wallace family, who vanished without a trace during a weekend camping trip. Their tents and belongings were found untouched, but there was no sign of the family. The local authorities were baffled, and rumors of a killer in the woods spread like wildfire. Sheriff Tom Harris, a veteran officer, was determined to solve the case. He discovered that similar disappearances had occurred in the area every decade, dating back to the 1950s. The pattern was too precise to be a coincidence. Tom's investigation led him to an old legend about a hermit named Jacob, who lived deep in the woods and was believed to kidnap campers who ventured too close to his territory. Tom, along with a team of officers, ventured into the woods to find Jacob. They discovered a hidden underground bunker filled with supplies, weapons, and disturbing drawings depicting the disappearances. They found Jacob, a gaunt and wild-eyed man who had been living off the grid for decades. He admitted to the kidnappings, claiming that the forest spoke to him, demanding sacrifices to keep the land pure. Jacob had grown up in the woods, abandoned by his family as a child. He survived by hunting and trapping, becoming a ghostly figure in the eyes of the townspeople. Over time, he developed a warped sense of justice, believing that he was the guardian of the forest, and the disappearances were a way to maintain the balance. Jacob's bunker contained journals detailing his twisted philosophy and the history of his actions. As Tom and his team gathered evidence, they found the remains of the Wallace family and other missing persons, providing closure to their grieving families. Jacob was arrested, and the chilling details of his life and crimes came to light. The community of Crystal Lake began to heal, but the legend of Jacob and the haunting memories of the disappearance at Crystal Lake remained. The forest, once a place of beauty and recreation, now carried the shadow of Jacob's reign of terror, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk within nature. The Cult of Shadows. In the bustling city of Chicago, a series of ritualistic murders sent shockwaves through the community. The victims were found in public places, their bodies arranged in intricate patterns with strange symbols carved into their skin. The media dubbed the killings the work of the Cult of Shadows. Detective Jake Reynolds was assigned to the case, and he quickly realized he was dealing with something far more sinister than a typical serial killer. Jake's investigation led him to an underground network of individuals obsessed with ancient rituals and dark magic. The cult believed they could gain power by offering human sacrifices to their deity. Jake infiltrated the cult, posing as a new recruit. He attended their secret meetings, held in abandoned warehouses and hidden basements. The deeper he went, the more he uncovered about their leader, a charismatic and ruthless man named Marcus Blackwood. Marcus was a master manipulator, convincing his followers that they were chosen to bring about a new era through their dark rituals. Jake gathered enough evidence to warrant a raid, but Marcus discovered his true identity. In a dramatic showdown, Jake fought off the cult members and confronted Marcus. The confrontation ended with Marcus being shot and killed by Jake. The remaining cult members were arrested, and the ritualistic killings stopped. The Cult of Shadows was dismantled, but the chilling memories of their deeds left a lasting mark on the city. Jake's bravery was celebrated, but he knew that the darkness he had faced would never truly be gone. As the investigation continued, Jake uncovered more about the cult's origins. Marcus had been a scholar of ancient texts, fascinated by the promise of immortality and power through forbidden rituals. He attracted a following of like-minded individuals, preying on their fears and desires. Jake's efforts revealed the extent of Marcus's influence, and the city worked to cleanse itself of the cult's dark legacy. The Cult of Shadows became a part of Chicago's dark history, a reminder of how easily charisma and fear can lead to horror. The Silent Watcher. In the quiet town of Hollow Creek, the residents felt safe leaving their doors unlocked and walking the streets at night. That sense of security was shattered when a series of home invasions turned deadly. The victims were found in their beds, their throats slit, with no signs of forced entry. The killer was dubbed the Silent Watcher, due to his ability to enter homes undetected. Detective Emily Carter, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving tough cases, was brought in to catch the Silent Watcher. Emily discovered that the killer was meticulously planning his attacks, studying his victims for weeks before striking. He used a combination of lock-picking skills and knowledge of the town's layout to evade detection. Emily's investigation led her to a reclusive man named Victor Shaw, who had a history of voyeurism and a collection of surveillance equipment. She found a hidden room in Victor's house filled with monitors displaying live feeds from cameras placed around town. Victor had been watching the residents of Hollow Creek for years, recording their every move. Emily set a trap, using herself as bait to lure Victor out. In a tense confrontation, Victor broke into her home, but Emily was ready. She overpowered him and arrested him on the spot. The town of Hollow Creek was relieved, but the knowledge that they had been watched for so long left a lingering unease. Victor was sentenced to life in prison, and Emily's reputation as a top detective was solidified. The butcher of Brooksville was a quiet town until the day the first body was found. A local butcher, Mr. Rogers, discovered the mutilated remains of a young woman behind his shop. The police were horrified by the brutality of the crime, and it was clear that they were dealing with a sadistic killer. Over the next few months, more bodies were found, each one more gruesome than the last. The killer's trademark was a deep, precise cut across the victim's throat, earning him the nickname The Butcher. Detective Laura Martinez was assigned to the case. She noticed a pattern. All the victims were connected to Mr. Rogers' butcher shop in some way. The investigation took a turn when Laura discovered that Mr. Rogers had a son, Ethan, who had a history of mental illness and violent behavior. Ethan had been in and out of psychiatric institutions for years, and his father had kept him hidden from the public. Laura's breakthrough came when she found Ethan's journal, detailing his fantasies of becoming the perfect butcher. He believed that by killing, he could absorb the strength and purity of his victims. The journal also revealed that Ethan had been killing animals before escalating to humans. Laura and her team tracked Ethan to an abandoned slaughterhouse on the outskirts of town. Inside, they found a gruesome scene: tools, blood, and trophies from his victims. In a tense confrontation, Ethan attacked Laura, but she managed to subdue him with a well-placed shot. Ethan was arrested, and Brooksville slowly returned to normal. The Butcher of Brooksville became a cautionary tale about the darkness that can hide behind closed doors. As the town recovered, Laura continued to investigate the extent of Ethan's crimes. She discovered that Mr. Rogers had known about his son's actions, but had been too afraid to turn him in, hoping that Ethan would get better. This revelation rocked the community, as the trusted local butcher had been harboring a killer. The town's sense of security was forever changed, and Laura's tireless work ensured that Ethan was held accountable for his heinous acts. If you have a true crime story you'd like featured on this channel, please email us.